The described emergency lighting wiring installation presents several violations of the National Electrical Code. NEC Section 300.20, titled General, addresses the protection of conductors. A key requirement of 300.20 is that conductors entering a raceway must be protected from abrasion and physical damage. This is typically achieved by using bushings or grommets in the holes where conductors enter the raceway. The exception to 300.20, specifically exception 320.20, permits the use of pre-assembled fittings with a built-in grommet or bushing, as long as they provide equivalent protection. However, the electrician in the scenario did not use a grommet or bushing to protect the 277 volts wire entering the wire mold box. This is a direct violation of NEC 300.20. The absence of a bushing or grommet creates a potential hazard, as the sharp edges of the hole in the wire mold box can damage the insulation of the conductor over time, leading to a short circuit or ground fault. In addition to the violation of 300.20, the use of NEC cable run from the 1900 box to a nearby light also presents problems. The description indicates that the NEC cable is not secure and is simply hanging in the air. This is a violation of the NEC requirement that wiring methods be supported and secured. NEC cable must be properly supported at appropriate intervals to prevent strain on the conductors and to protect the cable from physical damage. Leaving the NEC cable unsupported creates a tripping hazard and increases the risk of damage to the cable, which could lead to electrical shock or fire. Furthermore, the overall installation is described as looking unprofessional and not in keeping with the intent of the code. While the NEC is primarily concerned with safety, it also implicitly promotes good workmanship and neat installations. A haphazard installation not only looks bad but also increases the likelihood of future problems and makes it more difficult to troubleshoot and maintain the electrical system. The specific issues with the installation are firstly the lack of a bushing or grommet where the 277 volts wire enters the wire mold box, secondly the unsecured NEC cable hanging in the air, and thirdly the unprofessional appearance of the overall installation. To correct these deficiencies, the electrician should first install a grommet or bushing where the 277 volts wire enters the wire mold box. This will protect the conductor from abrasion and physical damage. Secondly, the electrician should properly secure the NEC cable using appropriate supports, such as cable ties or straps. The support should be installed at intervals that comply with the NEC requirements for NEC cable. Finally, the electrician should consider replacing the surface-mounted boxes and running the wires in a more professional manner. This could involve using concealed wiring methods, such as running the wires inside the wall, or using surface raceway systems that are designed to be aesthetically pleasing. In summary, the described emergency lighting wiring installation is not compliant with NEC and should be corrected to ensure electrical safety and good workmanship. The electrician should pay close attention to the requirements for protecting conductors entering raceways, securing wiring methods, and maintaining a professional appearance. Understanding the relevant sections of the NEC and following proper wiring practices are essential for all electricians to ensure the safety and reliability of electrical systems. The NEC is a comprehensive set of standards designed to protect people and property from electrical hazards. It is important for all electricians to be familiar with the code and to follow it diligently. Failure to comply with the NEC can result in fines, penalties, and even criminal charges. More importantly, it can put people's lives at risk. When working with electrical systems, it is always best to err on the side of caution and to consult with a qualified electrical inspector if you have any questions or concerns. A qualified electrical inspector can provide guidance on how to comply with the NEC and can help you to ensure that your electrical work is safe and reliable. It is also important to remember that electrical work can be dangerous. Always take the necessary precautions to protect yourself from electrical shock, such as wearing appropriate personal protective equipment and energizing circuits before working on them. If you are not comfortable working with electrical systems, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to do the work for you. Attempting to do electrical work yourself without the proper training and experience can be dangerous and can result in serious injury or death. In addition to the specific violations mentioned above, there are also several other potential code violations that could be present in the described installation. For example, the NEC requires that all electrical equipment be properly grounded. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to protect people from electrical shock and to prevent fires. The grounding system must be installed in accordance with the NEC requirements, and it must be properly maintained. Another important requirement of the NEC is that all electrical equipment be properly labeled. Labeling helps to identify the equipment and to provide information about its voltage, current, and other important characteristics. The labels must be legible and must be permanently affixed to the equipment. The NEC also contains requirements for the installation of electrical boxes. Electrical boxes must be properly sized to accommodate the conductors and devices that they contain. They must also be securely mounted and protected from physical damage. The NEC also contains requirements for the installation of wiring methods. Wiring methods must be installed in accordance with the NEC requirements, and they must be protected from physical damage. The NEC also contains requirements for the installation of overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers and fuses. Overcurrent protection devices are designed to protect electrical circuits from overloads and short circuits. They must be properly sized and installed in accordance with the NEC requirements. In addition to the NEC, there may also be local codes and regulations that apply to electrical installations. It is important to check with your local authorities to determine what codes and regulations are in effect in your area. The NEC is a living document. It is constantly being updated to reflect new technologies and best practices. It is important for all electricians to stay up to date on the latest changes to the code. You can stay up to date on the NEC by subscribing to a trade publication, attending continuing education courses, or visiting the National Fire Protection Association website. By following the NEC and other applicable codes and regulations, electricians can help to ensure the safety and reliability of electrical systems. This protects people and property from electrical hazards and helps to create a safe and healthy environment. Proper support for the MC cable means securing it every few feet, typically with straps or cable ties designed for this purpose. The exact spacing is dictated by the NEC, but generally, is close enough to prevent sagging and potential damage. The type of support must be appropriate for the cable and the mounting surface. Ignoring this requirement can lead to the cable being snagged, pulled, or otherwise damaged, which could expose the conductors and create a safety hazard. The NEC also specifies requirements for the type and size of conductors used in electrical installations. The conductors must be sized appropriately for the load that they will be carrying, and they must be insulated to prevent electrical shock. The NEC also contains requirements for the color coding of conductors. Color coding helps to identify the conductors and to prevent accidental miswiring. For example, the NEC typically requires that the neutral conductor be white or grey, and that the grounding conductor be green or bare. The hot conductors can be any color other than white, grey, or green. It is important to follow the NEC color coding requirements to ensure that electrical systems are wired correctly and safely. The type of box used in an electrical installation is also important. The NEC specifies different types of boxes for different applications. For example, there are boxes designed for use in wet locations, boxes designed for use in hazardous locations, and boxes designed for use in concrete. The type of box used must be appropriate for the environment in which it will be installed. The NEC also contains requirements for the spacing of electrical boxes. The electrical boxes must be spaced far enough apart to allow for the proper installation of conductors and devices. The spacing requirements vary depending on the type of box and the type of wiring method used. It is important to follow the NEC spacing requirements to ensure that electrical boxes are properly installed and that the electrical system is safe and reliable. In addition to the technical requirements of the NEC, there are also some general principles of good workmanship that should be followed when installing electrical systems. These principles include being neat and organized, using high-quality materials, and taking pride in your work. A well-installed electrical system is not only safe, but also aesthetically pleasing. It is a reflection of the electrician's skill and professionalism. By following these principles of good workmanship, electricians can help to create electrical systems that are both safe and reliable. The information provided is for general guidance only and should not be considered a substitute for professional electrical advice. Always consult with a qualified electrician before undertaking any electrical work.